Welcome back to another episode of Goalie Training Pro TV. Today I'm going to take you on a little walk along as I head out to run some errands here in Quebec City. But I'm going to give you sort of the inside scoop or the key take-home points from the International Hockey Coaching Convention that was run in conjunction with the World Junior Hockey Championship. So the Swedish Ice Hockey Federation hosted it. And there was definitely a common theme. So I'm gonna kind of go through speaker by speaker and give you the key takeaways. So it's pretty much like you were right there with me. I was lucky enough to be invited to present, so I'll also share with you kind of my summary slide from that talk. But let's get bundled up and head out into the city. So we have a rental property in Quebec City that we do long-term rentals on, and when it's not rented, we love to come here and hang out for a couple of weeks and get in some skiing and that kind of thing. So I'm just actually heading out to my favorite coffee shop, which is called Maison Smith. There are a few locations in Quebec City. The best coffee, super friendly, nice people. But let's talk about another trip that I was on. For the month of January, I will have been on the road, I think, for 20 or 21 days. So it's been a busy travel month. But let's talk about the other trip I was on, which was in Gothenburg, Sweden. I was lucky enough to be invited to present at this international coaching conference, which is great honor, and it was really exciting to do. But more exciting was having the chance to learn from a really great group of speakers. So the first keynote speaker of the conference was Joe Baker. His area of interest is sort of long-term athlete development. So I think the thing that kind of stuck out from his presentation the most was, and not to say it was just what stuck out to me, his presentation was packed with tons of awesome content, but what stuck out to me was that when we get into this early identification, so, and you look at especially like soccer, things like that, but it's starting to happen more and more in hockey. So you identify this young kid as, oh, you're gifted in hockey. So then we're going to drive resources and drive that young athlete towards hockey. But what's to say maybe when they're 8, 9, 10 years old? But what's to say when that their true potential is actually to be an elite level rugby player or bobsledder or something like that. So when we early identify kids and put them in that stream and resource them into that stream, they're not getting exposure to other sports. Maybe they're better suited to those sports. So I thought that was really interesting. So the next up was Phil Osaer from the Detroit Red Wings now. And he was with U.S. Hockey before that. But he talked about the importance of goalies being hockey players first. So I love that because I think of the athletes I work with as athletes first, hockey players second, and goalies third. So he really talked about the importance of the goalie being a hockey player and seeing themselves as a hockey player, rather than sort of a special, completely different entity. So I like that a lot. And then he talked a ton about the importance of puck handling and, being able to quickly and efficiently play the puck, getting to the puck with urgency, and then making the right decision once you have the puck and making, executing a good move, making a good decision. So I thought that was a really kind of good point. And this was one of the big themes of the conference that you're going to see is goalies handling pucks and making decisions. Which brings us to David Alexander, who is the goalie coach for the St. Louis Blues. And he also talked about tons of things, really, really awesome. But one of the things he talked about was the goalie puck handling. And what I loved about his statement that sort of built on what Phil was saying, trying not to get run over by potentially a garbage truck. What built on what Phil was saying is, it's not just like we want the goalie to go out and make some sort of pass with the puck. It's like we want the goalie to go out, handle the puck efficiently, read the situation, and make the right play with the puck. And I think it was Phil even said, even a cross ice pass in front of the crease, if it's a passing lane, make that pass. You don't have to just sort of do the safe thing all the time. Obviously, you don't want to do the stupid thing. But what David talked about was they don't evaluate their goalies' excellence at handling the puck based on the first pass. So based on getting the puck, controlling the puck, and making a good pass. They evaluate their goalies based on the second pass that's made, piggybacking on their first pass. So am I putting it to a player who can then, with them in a situation where they can make a good play and get the puck out of our zone? So one of the things they look at too is how many defenders are caught deep, are caught behind the puck after that second pass. So I thought that was pretty cool too, that it's not just can you make a pass or keep the puck safe. It's like, can you actually do something? Can you contribute to our offense of getting the puck out of our zone? So this is actually super cool. This is the ski dome in Gothenburg. It's an indoor cross-country ski track. It's about 1.2 kilometers around. You can rent skis. It's unbelievable. There's even like a little, like it's rolling, so there's little uphills and downhills. Unbelievable. Ski dome, Gothenburg. So up next it was Ken Martel and Steve Thompson from USA Hockey, and they also talked about puck possession and the importance of puck possession. They talked about the importance of and situations and the importance of using one puck in practice, in drills, so that the play, the beginning and the end of the play is dictated by the puck, not by the coach's whistle. You'll see how many times you see a drill start, a forward misses the pass, and so the coach just passes them another puck to kind of keep the drill going. But the sport isn't about the drills, it's about the play and the decision making. So using just that one puck and then playing it to the end of the situation, whatever that is. So then too, it's like, okay, the goalie, there's a shot, the goalie makes a save. Well, then they're going to play that rebound as well. It isn't just like, okay, I did my thing and that's the end of the drill, and then looking for the coach to blow the whistle or set out a new puck. And that idea tied in really nicely with what Thomas Magnusson was talking about a lot. Thomas is the head of Swedish goaltending development, but he was talking about hockey being a game of situations, not of shots. And so he also echoed that idea of using one puck in practice. Then Steve Thompson was back up again, and he talked about having 3 goalies in practice, which some goalies don't like. But if you have an extra goalie at practice, even if you have 2 goalies and one goalie isn't involved in the drill, they can be involved by, making the first pass, by playing the puck, by playing rebounds, being out trying to score on a rebound. They don't just have to be sort of sitting there doing nothing. So a real theme was this ecological dynamic approach to skill acquisition, which is that the skill acquisition is kind of dictated by the constraints of the drill, not sort of the drill itself. So what it means is basically the athletes kind of have to find the solution. The drills are almost more problems that the athletes have to find the solution to, rather than, hey, okay, you're going to pass it to them, they're going to pass it over here, and then they're going to take a shot. It's more setting up situations that require decision making and responses. And then it was my turn on the last day to do my presentation, and once we get back to our place, to my little office there, I'll show you my summary screen, my summary slide, which is just basically, hey, here are the key ingredients every goalie training program should include. Before we get to that, let me be clear. These aren't all the ingredients. Some of you will look at it and say, well, you didn't put strength in there, you didn't put mobility. Yeah, those are kind of a given. Like, that's going to be included. And I'm not saying that these key elements need to be in every single workout, in every single phase. But when you're designing programs, or when your program's designed for you, these should be elements that are built in, that are layered in. These should be qualities that you're developing. So here's the summary of my presentation, or kind of a take-home point that I wanted all the coaches to have. And that's that every goalie program should include these key elements. So first is frontal plane strength. So a lot of our traditional strength training is sagittal plane strength, but goalies need that frontal plane strength. They need rotary control first. So, moving head and hands, having a strong torso, bringing the hips along. You need that control. Then you build power on top of that. Tons of goalies are still missing single knee balance, which kind of blows me away. Strength and length, which I've been droning on about over and over. We also talked about strength in shortened positions too, and how that's important for some of your butterfly slides and holding your flare. We talked about adding variability to training, and where we can, adding some elements of this ecological dynamic approach where there isn't a, hey, here's the right way to do it. It's a little bit like, hey, here's how I'm going to challenge you. Let me see how your body meets that challenge. And then the final part is neutral pelvis awareness. And the key point I wanted to make to the coaches there was that your pelvis isn't going to be neutral all the time. Our pelvis moves, our spine moves, but you should have that awareness, and we should be finding a neutral pelvis as sort of the foundation, the resting point, and then learn how to use it as a tool going forward from there. So that is kind of the key takeaway point. I took pages and pages of notes, but I tried to boil it down to what was the number one point from these different speakers. Really, like anything, some of the best learning comes when you're having lunch. We went to all the hockey games, sitting at the games, watching it with different coaches. What are you seeing? What do they like? What would they change? And just getting to meet people and making connections. So, it is an expense and it's time away, but it's an investment. Being around people who are top performers in what they do, it makes you better at what you do. So look for opportunities to get out, to learn new things from different people, and to visit, beautiful places. Hit me up. Let me know if you've traveled to a convention somewhere. It was a beautiful city, a beautiful environment, and tell me the number one thing you learned from that experience. Drop a comment below. Otherwise, I will catch you on the flip side.